Hi everyone, it's Angus Campbell here. It's Friday the 14th of March 2025. Okay, I'm back from a pretty extensive trip to the other side of the world for family wedding and a bit of a holiday with a lot of the family. And we're now back and it's a bit chilly, but the sun's out there and spring is on the way, and making lots of arrangements now for what I'm doing this year and shows and everything. So lots going on. And I think in my sort of stable roundup before I went away, we just let the Bonneville go. So that's now on a ship on the water on its way to Greg in New Zealand. And we put the Rocket 3 on the lift because this needs a service. But that's going to be a separate video because I'm kicking off with cracking on with respraying items on the B25SS, and that's because I'm probably taking it abroad in early May, so I just want to be tidying a few things up on it, including the paintwork and the wheels. So I've been in touch with Central Wheels, and I think in the next few days I'm going to be taking the wheels off the B25SS and taking them in for a rebuild, and to have the hubs powder coated, because one, the rims are rough, and two, the hubs have been sprayed, but bloody awful job. So we'll get them sorted. But in the meantime, I'm going to crack on in getting that side panel, which looks pretty good on camera, but which actually is dreadful, to the sort of same condition as the one that we started and finished in a previous video last year in more of a flamboyant blue. Now, if you put these two together, they don't look that far apart, but you can see that one is darker. And actually, if you look at the paintwork on it, it is actually pretty dreadful. And I think this might have been filled a bit as well to hide aberrations in the same way that this one was. So the first thing I'm going to do is, it's in the bowl here because it might look nice, but it's going to get painted with nitromors, good old-fashioned caustic nitromors, and we'll leave that to soak. The first thing we've got to do is get off the, I call them Zeus fasteners, but they're oddies as well, they call them. And that is correct, actually. This one has got its correct sort of retaining rubber on the back side of it, which that one hasn't. So there's the fastener itself, and I've got some rubbers on the way. So let's get that out first, and then we'll give this a good coating of nitromors, and then I'll go out for lunch and we'll just leave that to cook. Right, there we go. Got a liberal coating on there, and you can see it's beginning to lift it already, but we'll leave it on there a good while so it can try and burn its way through several coats, but we'll probably need to do this several times anyway and wash it in between and stuff like that. And yes, I know I've got to tidy this bench up as well at the same time, and try and keep that away from the nitromors. Right, we'll leave that to cook a bit, and I'll be back in a few hours and we'll see how it's getting on. Well, this is next day. So firstly, these 4 small rubbers have arrived, and they either go on the pins on the frame that hold the rear of the side panels on, or they go in the side panel themselves. And I think they go in the side panel themselves. So we'll try that at some point. But other bad news is I shouldn't have left this overnight because it's dried on. It has taken the lacquer surface off and is beginning to bubble up the blue. So we'll give this another lather. And what I must do this time is, after a specified period, which is, it says 5 to 10 minutes, but it'll be more than that. I'll apply a second coat after 5 to 10 minutes, and then remove blistered and soften paint after 40 minutes. So basically, don't be an idiot and do it your own way. Read the bloody instructions. Right, so we'll pour another load over this, and another load in 10 minutes. Let's do it properly. Right, there we go, a good thick layer of gloop on that, so we'll leave it 10 minutes and we'll put some more on. Yeah, the reason I left it yesterday and overnight was I didn't expect it to dry, because it's very cold at the moment, only 6-7 degrees during the day and freezing overnight, but anyway, it did dry up. Live and learn. Right, while that's happening, next job, let's try and create some bench space, because there's lots of detritus on here from, well, me doing some work on the camper van, but also from the Bonneville, i.e. nuts, bolts and all that lot. So let's do a bit of a tidy up and create some space. And it's about time quite a bit of this got cleared out. Right, second coat on, ignore the red stuff there, that's something else I'm doing in parallel. But actually when brushing this on, you can see underneath that the blue's coming away. So we'll leave that 40 minutes and then we'll give that a wash down with hot soapy water and see how we stand. Now, some potentially pretty bloody bad news that I've just noticed. So if you get the light in the right, and you can see it there, just when you get the light reflecting off in the right direction, look at that. That's crazing under the lacquer. So a type of reaction. Oh, just on that bit there. That's pretty bloody bad news. We need to keep an eye on that. If that continues and gets any worse, then it's going to need doing again. I mean, square on, etc., you don't really see it when you do that. Just in certain angles you can see it, and I just caught my eye there. That's obviously the right angle. There it is, look. Looks terrible there, but it's a smooth surface, so it's underneath the lacquer that's reacting. So it's probably something between the silver base, the primer, and the flamboyant blue. It must be between the primers, really. Oh, that's annoying. Well, I'm not redoing it before we're due to go on a trip on it. We'll just need to keep an eye on it and see if it, as I say, if it worsens. Anyway, let's get on with this one. So 40 minutes. Well, I've jumped ahead a bit. The Nitromorse sort of did the job. Really got most of the paint loosened up, but there were several coats of strange stuff on this side panel. So once I'd washed it off with warm, well, hot soapy water, I've then given it a good scrub down with actually emery. And the good news is this side panel is in so much better condition than that one was. So there's no pitting at all, rust pits, which there were on that one. It was really quite bad and it needed filling. This one won't need any filler primer at all. The only thing I have noticed is there's a depression there. And I've got this side too, which is more noticeable on this side. There it is. So I'm just going to tap that a little tiny bit against this the wooden bench here, just to get it out a little. Should be okay if I'm gentle. And then we'll do a quick scrub down of this side, probably with Nitromorse again. You can see they've skimped on this side, which even the factory sprayers did, which is fine. So it means we'll get it down to a reasonable prep so we can get a decent coat on it. It looks like it's pitted, but it's not. It's all the original paintwork and stuff. So you can see there's been bugger all prep done on this side before they put this blue stuff on, which is a bit odd. But anyway, yeah, let's just give that little depression a little gentle tap with probably a wooden dolly, something like that. And we'll get Nitromorse in here as well and just lift that surface off. Right, I've just tapped out that dent, and actually I used the hard rubber mallet on a nice on this surface, which is pretty forgiving. And it's improved it no end. I mean, you couldn't see it the side anyway, but you could feel it. That's so much better. Quite pleased with that. So much better than it was. Right. Nitromors. It's falling off on this side. It's only been on a couple of minutes. And look closely at that. That's going down to bare metal. So I won't leave this on long. I'll just keep agitating it with this. It's not too stiff, this brush, but it's falling off it, and then we'll wash it down again, and it should be fine. Right, I'll bring you back sooner than I thought, I think. Right, there you go. That's the reverse side basically done after about 10 or 15 minutes work. So I'm going to wash all this down now thoroughly to make sure we get rid of any residue, nitromors residue, and then we'll give it a light wet and dry all over, and then we'll just about be there then for priming. As you can see, there are some rust pits which hadn't been treated at all prior to the previous spray up, so I might just put some a little bit of rust treatment on those before we put the first coat of primer on, and it'll be etch primer we'll start with to get a good key. Right, let's give it a wash down and wet and dry. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you know, when you get bored, you do something else to break up the monotony. The little rubbers that we got, they fit into the rear plane of the side panel pretty well, so that should make it easier to get to fit it onto the stubs on the frame, but it's going to be a bit of a job. It's going to be a tight fit, but anyway, they're in, they fit well. Right, it's all dried off following wet and dry and washing with clean, fresh hot water, and I did decide to treat the rust pits just to prevent them getting any worse. So you can see that this is Nitromors rust preventer. You just brush it on and leave it to dry basically, and the ferrous oxide blackens. I can't remember what it turns it into. I did used to know as a bit of a chemist, but I've forgotten. Anyway, it turns it into more of an inert material and stops the rot progressing, and that should be okay. We're not looking for an absolute concourse finish on this, but pretty good presentable one, and you know, nice colour and pretty, a bit like that really. This one still needs actually a final cut. I'll give it a T-cut on the lacquer just to smooth it off. You can see it's a little bit orange peely, but I really aren't worried about that. And actually, I keep looking at that. Ugh. Hey ho. Now the other thing is that with the Zeus fastener, as you know, there's this sort of thick rubber retaining grommet that goes on the reverse side to hold the Zeus fastener in the side panel when you take it off. Now on the Rocket 3 I've also put a protective rubber washer on this side, on the top side, so that this doesn't dig into the paint, etc., which it's already started to do there because I haven't got one on. And I've got these, but as you can see, the inside diameter of those is far too wide. They're going to slop about all over the place. So I've just got to find out where I got the ones for the Rocket 3 from, or whether I've got some in stock, just to protect the paint a bit really. There's not one listed on in the parts book, but we'll have a go anyway. Why not? Right, we're going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to leave that a while actually. Go and do some other bits and pieces. Make sure this is absolutely dry of all the water, as well as the rust preventer being cured, and then we'll give it a spray with filler etch primer, and we'll be on our way. Right, this is a couple of days later after the weekend. Started to put a bit of filler primer on the side panel that we're prepping. With respect to the side panel that we did first, the little rubbers have arrived that hold the Zeus fasteners into the panel. So basically you put the Zeus fasteners in, push the rubber in from that side, and the rubber sits in there, which I think I demonstrated with the one that was correct. And oh, there's the tank. Well, I went over to the unit where it's sitting at the moment with the B50, and because we're prepping this bike for taking it abroad for an old rally that we used to attend, which is going to be the last one. We call it the day case rally because we're all old gits now. It's going to be the last one, so I'm taking a bike just to show willing. Then I thought I'd do a bit of tarting up in general actually, and the next thing was going to be the tank. So why don't we do it now while we're doing the side panel? So that's here, and while I was there, oh, took the wheels off because these need doing anyway. The rims are very badly pitted, and the paintwork on the hubs, I don't know if you better see this really. Yeah, you can see it. The hubs have been painted before, presumably the wheels. Maybe they were painted while all this lot was in situ, because I've realised as well, while I was taking the sprocket off, that the spokes, which look in really good nick, they're painted. You can see, oops, you can see a couple of chips there, but you can see the state of the hubs. They've not been prepped at all. Paint's been plastered on, and in fact, if you look over there, there you go, you can see there's the same crazing on that, i.e. reaction, that I look as though I'm getting on that first damn side panel. So they need doing. So they're going to go over to Central Wheels for rebuilding today, and in taking off the sprocket off the back end, look at those teeth, they're worn on one side. And I noticed, I didn't film it at the time when I was taking the chain off, pulling a link here, you could pull a link out like that, so the chain's knackered as well. Oh god, it's got shades of Triumph Bonneville written all over this. But anyway, decided to get on with it. They've given me a turnaround time for it, so the wheels will be done in time for the rally that we're attending, so in the meantime we can crack on with the paintwork. Right, cup of tea and hit the road. Oh my god, honestly, it's not another light renovation. Really it isn't. It's going no further than the wheels and the paintwork. Honestly. There's a picture that tells a story. It might look a bit of a travesty because we've got some nice badges on there in the right position, but I've taken a photograph of it. And we're off with the tank. First coat of nitro-moors on. I'll be doing this in quarters because of its size, so we'll do top left hand quarter first and down this side. And I did just scrape through the layers just to see what we've got. At first I wondered whether there was some original paint under here, but I don't think so. I think it's in the centre there. You've got, that's bare metal there now, and then we've got some sort of yellow. See, I'm making it worse now, that's better. Some sort of yellow primer filler, probably. Then there's sort of a red oxide, and then maybe a base coat, grey base coat, and then the blue on top. But the blue's on so thick that if there is a silver sheen base coat, it's not going to show through. So it might be a silver sheen base coat, or it might be grey primer on top of red oxide on top of primer filler. I had another little go here, just see if there's sort of a remnants of any black stripe, if it was original red and black tank, and there is none. It's just the same. But I don't know, you know, when they've gone to all that trouble to do that and maybe stripped it back to bare metal, why they couldn't have done a better job of it, because you won't be able to see it now because I've got rid of them. First of all, you can see, anyway, we've got reaction. Can you see the little cracks, what appear to be cracks when the light's right? And also, you can't see them now, but there were sort of indentations and paint chips and that all over the place where they'd just been sprayed over, as though, you know, there'd been bugger all prep done. Anyway, not very clear to see on the camera, but we're on our way. So I've got the other side panel outside, getting a few more coats while it's dry today and relatively warm. A few more coats of filler primer before we'll let that harden, and rub that down and put some grey primer on it. And that's just our reference point, which is the first one that I did on another video. Right, so that's where we are at the moment. I'm going to leave that there because I think we've probably got enough footage for this video, and we'll continue with this as a series of videos, especially now the wheels have gone into central wheels to be rebuilt. And while I'm doing the video on this, to prep this for the May rally in France, we'll then also in parallel, I want to get this running well as a road runner this year. Got a couple of things lined up for it, so we'll do a service on this as a separate set of videos, clips running in parallel. Okay, that's all for now, everybody. Good to be back and in the garage and getting stuff done. Just another quick update. The Rocket 3 and the A70 Lightning will both be at Stafford in April. The Rocket 3 is going on the TR3 OC stand, and the Lightning's going on the BSA OC stand. So we'll have a bit of prep to do with them in April and get them out and about. Okay, thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks for any comments, subscriptions, and for your interest, and see you all again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.